There is a major difference between being a saint or a Christian. Listen to Pastor T. Alan Stringer explain in this video clip. Number 2.
Which is your reasonable service. You see the same things I mentioned here? So then a saint is someone who sanctifies, but they must present themselves. Come on, say, I must present myself. How long? A living sacrifice. So that means until I die. I must live in sacrifice. Well, what is living sacrifice? Well, the contrast is life. Now, you know, when they sacrifice animals, the reference was to the fat on the altar, often made. And the fat on the altar belonged unto God. Now, the fat, according to the theology, represents the pleasure of the beast. So come on, say, fat represents pleasure. And so therefore, I must sacrifice pleasure unto God. What pleasures me? What makes me happy? I must be willing to give it. We have examples in scriptures. Remember Abraham? Wasn't it a pleasure to have a son after 25 years of trying to secure the promise that God says was his? That same promise was something that was going to give him something, make his name great. His seed, according to the scriptures, would be like the sand by the sea without count, stars in heaven without number. He has his chest out waiting for his legacy to carry on after him. And what does God say? Give me your pleasure. Take him to the top of the mountain and there offer him up to me. Isn't that kind of strange that God would do that? But of course, we now, having hindsight of scriptures, know what this was about, right? God was testing the faith of Abraham. God wanted to make sure that even in when he calls you to do and blesses you while doing, that same call and blessing is subjected to what he still desires. And after he gives it to you, can I have it back? Can I take it back from you? How many of you would give a gift back to somebody that has given it to you years later? Because he had to be about 13 years of age when he would take him to the mountain to sacrifice him. Someone gives you a possession and 13 years later they knock at your door and say, I'd like to have that back now. It would be a problem. You would call them an Indian giver. I remember that phrase, right? Amen. You take him back and you'd be mad with him and it probably wouldn't end too well for that person at your door. God, in this particular instance, challenges Abraham. And this symbolic challenge is that is spoken of in the book of Romans. Living sacrifice, that no matter what you get, no matter where you go in life, be willing to sacrifice if I call you to it. I did that as a pastor. I could have gone another way. I could have done so many other things with the skills and talents that I have, but I chose to be a pastor because God called me to it. I could have told him no. Got in trouble, but I could have told him no nonetheless. Amen. But the idea was I was willing to give up the pursuits. I had the plan of getting a degree, going to college and doing what I do. But God said, I need you over here. I said, fine, I'll do that. And so you have to make those choices. Please understand that even when God gives you, the Lord gives, and the Lord, that's what Job found out, right? God came to his door 13 years later. I'd like to have your sons. I'd like to have your daughters. Oh, what about your livestock? How about your money? Give it all back to me. Come on, say that's fat on the altar. There is nothing in your life that is off limits to God's call.
To hear this or other sermons delivered by Pastor T. Alan Stringer, head over to 8stringtv.com website or to the Apple or Google Play stores and get our app.